Welcome to another episode of the Music Teachers in International Schools podcast. I'm your host, Chris Kulmer. I wanted to start today with a little story to introduce our guest. And in November last year, I gave the opening address at the Association for Music in International Schools, or AMI, Music Educators Conference. The title of the address was The Consonance and Dissonance of Teaching Music in International Schools Today. Quite a chunky concept. And as part of that address, I encouraged the audience, everyone listening, to think about their own story around international school music education. So things like how they got to where they are now, what have been the sort of joys and challenges of their role or getting to their role. And after the address, I met so many wonderful international school music teachers with incredible stories. One of those stories was from Jefferson Aranda. And Jeff and I chatted a couple of times over the conference weekend and later realized we were both taking the same flight home. So we decided to share a taxi to the airport. And of course, we kind of just spoke nonstop the whole trip. I can't even really remember the trip, to be honest. And we arrived and I realized that I didn't have any euros to pay for the fare. It was like had to actually pay in cash for this one. So Jeff kindly paid the 60 euro fare, and I promised I'd get him dinner before the flight to pay my half. Well, we individually went in and checked in, and I never saw Jeff again. Not before, during, or after the flight. So I still owe him my share of that taxi ride to this day, and I'm still hoping I'll get to buy him a meal at some point. But either way, after our conversation over that weekend, I knew I needed to get Jeff on the show to get him to share some ideas with the MTIIS community. So Jeff, thanks for joining me.
Hey Chris, thank you so much. Thanks for having me here. It's gonna be great to talk, to share ideas, stories about music education and all the things that we are doing in our schools for our students.
So Jeff, I wanted to start with a bit about your background. So can you tell us a bit about your cultural and national heritage and what it was like growing up wanting to be a musician?
Yes, for sure. So I'm from Ecuador in South America, in that part of the world. Right now I'm living in Abu Dhabi, but I started my career there in Ecuador. Basically, I studied there my bachelor, I studied there my master's degree, and I start my career there. In Ecuador, when I start my career, basically I start playing instruments as an extracurricular activity. Some days, during the weekends especially, it's super common. I was super lazy during the weekend, and I was sleeping on Saturdays until, 11, 12. And one day my mom says, okay, Jeff, you have to do something on Saturdays. So I'm going to register to you in an extracurricular on Saturdays to play any musical instrument. So that's the way that I start my journey with the music, having like an extracurricular activity on Saturdays, playing or learning how to play the trumpet. Then after that, I feel like this is good, but each Saturday to Saturday, I forgot the notes, the name of the notes, the positions of the trumpet and things like that. And it was weird that each Saturday I was asking the same question to my teacher. So how is he? How is the? Or because I was forgetting because it was each Saturday. Then I feel like okay, I have to improve in this area. At that time I was 12. I started a little bit late my learning with music. Then I start practicing a little bit more. So I was having classes like 3 times per week, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday, something like that. But at the same time, was found that my brother, he played guitar. He never studied like formally in any place, but he just played. And he had a band at that time, like a rock band. He was playing like rock and roll punk. And he told me, Jeff, you're playing trumpet? And I said, actually, yeah, I'm learning. I know a couple notes. And he told me, okay, let's join to the band. We are almost like practicing, we're starting. Maybe you can do something. So that's why I joined to that band with my brother. And we start playing some some kind of reggae or ska, because we try to mix the rhythms. I feel like I need to keep growing in this area. So and I said, okay, to my parents, I want to keep studying, and they said, okay, but this is just an extracurricular. So you have to focus in your area that basically is the school. And I said, yes, of course, but I at the same time I want to keep improving my skills in my music. And they said, no, this is an extracurricular. That's it. I thought that, okay, this is different. They are not like thinking the same thing that I am thinking, or the things that I want to do. So I started looking around the city where I grow in Quito, in Ecuador, places to study for free. Because they tell me, no, we are not support something that is not extracurricular or more formally. So I found the National Conservatory in Ecuador. It's a public conservatory. I went there. I registered by myself. So I start my career, my formal career there, basically in the conservatory in Ecuador. When I was playing there, I started having some amazing experiences, playing in symphonic bands, playing in symphonic orchestras. But in that time also, one of my teachers in the conservatory told me, Jeff, I have a band. Maybe you want to join us. And I said, of course, let's go. Let's do for this. And I stayed there until basically to move here. I was there for 13 years. And actually, I'm in a stop right now because I'm here in another part of the world. But with that band, I play a lot in Ecuador because that band came a little bit popular in our country. And we start playing in all the country. We played on a European tour. We played around the States, in South America. So we have a lot of concerts, like, I don't know, 100 concerts around the country. That was a lot. And I was at that time 15, 16. And I was traveling around the country. I like growing with the band guys. And at the same time, attending to the conservatory and learning. It was good. I was in 11th grade. And at that time, it's when in the school you decide what you want to do, or when the counselors come to you and say, okay, what do you want to do for your future? And in that time, I was playing with the band. I was attending to the conservatory, playing with the symphonic band. I was learning English. So, and I said to myself, okay, I want to study music. And I said to my parents, okay, I decide that I want to study music because right now I'm playing with the band. I'm having good things there. And I think that I can have a good future there. And for sure, the answer was no. In my country, in Ecuador, to be a musician, to have a career as a formal musician is not the best way. It's like it's culturally is not the best way to work. It's not accepted. In some places it can be a taboo to be a musician because everything is related with concerts, with parties, with drugs, drunks, and all those things that happen in the night. So they said, what you're going to do? You're going to play just in concerts and you're going to live with this? And I said, yeah, for now, that's the thing that I want to do. I want to keep working in this area. The things that you think about this are not truth. You have to decide what you want to do. In my country at that time, was just 4 universities who were offering the actual career in music, but those universities were super expensive. To attend there, you need to pay a lot of money to go there and to start practicing and developing. In the other hand, you have the public conservatory and you have some foundations that were helping to grow as a musician. And then I was like in one of these days, like thinking what I'm going to do. I don't know. Maybe they have the reason. Maybe I need to study, I don't know, to be a lawyer, to be an architect, something else. And in that moment, I received in that time it was an email or I don't know, messenger or something like that, with an article saying that one of the most important universities in Quito, they are looking for brass instrumentists instrumentalists, people who's playing brass instruments, to offer scholarships if they pass the audition. And I was like, this is a signal. This needs to be something for me. So I call, and they said, okay, you have your audition in like 3 months. And for that time, I start preparing, focusing in that audition. Then the day comes, and I went to the audition because I had that background playing in symphonic orchestra, in some bands, attending to the conservatory. I took the audition, and at that time, one of my teachers that I remember right now, and he was who grew with me and give me that passion, was Jay Byron, and I took the audition. I passed. Then they did like a social economical evaluation assessment, something like that for my life, for my family, and they gave me the scholarship to attend to that university.
Wow.
And it was good because when I received the scholarship, I went to my mom and I said, okay, I'm going to study music. I told you that no, you have to understand that this is not possible. You have to do something that's going to be valuable in your life. Sorry, but I'm saying that I'm going to study music and I'm starting in August. Why? How you are going to pay that? This is super expensive. We don't have the money for that. And here is the approval for the scholarship. And basically, I'm going to start there. And was the most expensive university there. And basically, I start my career. I started studying there with my own thing. I was fighting for that. And at the end, I earned this possibility to study in that university that was amazing. And I eternally grateful for that.
That's amazing. Great story. So you kind of mentioned some barriers, some quite clear barriers to entry there for you, whether it was the family influence saying that you couldn't do it, or it was that the university was too expensive or hard to get into, or you didn't know the teachers. Do you know if that's kind of still the same in Ecuador? Has it changed at all, that perception of music being a valid career, or is it still the same that people don't really think music is a valid career?
This has been changing because the music and the world, the internet and the social media was like super popular in this time, and you have all the information in your hand. So more universities opened the doors and they were offering the music as a career. And at that time, as I said, just 4 universities were offering that career. And right now, in this year 2023, around 12 universities, between 10 and 12 universities are offering that career related with music in Ecuador. And the good thing is, like in 2 of the most important cities, public universities, the biggest public universities, are offering that career as a music performance or ethnomusicology or something like that. So they are offering that careers. And because they are public schools, people from different part of the social network can be there, basically. That's great because that means that the society and maybe the ideas that they have are changing, and right now maybe it's a little bit more acceptable to be a musician, and they know that there are different ways that you can work in music, not just being a performer in concerts and things like that. Now they know it's super popular right now to have your studio or your home studio, and you are studying to be a music producer or sound engineer. They open their mind so they can discover that are different ways to be a musician.
Yeah. So you got your start teaching music in an international school, actually in Ecuador, right? You taught in an international school based in Ecuador when we spoke in that taxi ride. What was it like, and how is it different? How is the international school scene, I guess, in Ecuador different to state schools in Ecuador?
I received the scholarship to study in the university, and to pay to the university my scholarship that I received, basically I had to play in the big band of the university. For me, it was great because I was having a lot of experience. I was learning. And at the same time, I was paying to university the money that I was receiving for my scholarship. When I was playing in that big band, many people from different instruments came, and some guest performers were invited there. One of those persons who came to play that was Jeff Tolson, who's right now one of my best friends, and he's my mentor. And he came one day to play in the trumpet line with me. He just came, and I said one like American guy in the trumpet line, and I was like, "Oh, who's that guy?" I asked to my friends, and they said, he's the director of the music department in an international school here in Quito. That is a Colegio Menor when I started my journey. And I was like, "Oh, good. This guy looks like he's important." So we start playing. We start having these rehearsals, and we played together like around a year. And in that year that we were sharing the rehearsals, we be friends basically, because we were talking, we were in the same line, we were sharing, and it was great. And I talked with Jeff at that time in one of these rehearsals, and I said, "Jeff, if you have something in the school that I can do, I have my degree here almost. And if you have something that I can do in your school, if you are offering something, if you have any opening, I want to work because I'm almost finishing." And he told me, "Jeff, okay, yeah, that's good. Just take my card. I'm going to call you." Okay, and was like, "Okay, that's good." 1 month, nothing. 2 months, nothing. And I was like preparing my thesis, my final work, and I received a call from him. And he said, "Jeff, we are going to start next month here the school year. Are you still looking for a job?" And I said, "Yes, of course. I don't have my bachelor yet, but I am in." So he told me, "Okay, I'm going to give your CV to my HR department, so they are going to be in contact with you." Was great.
Oh.
2 days after, yes, 2 days after that, they called me, and I started as a teacher assistant, and it was great because I was my first experience there. I was learning a lot how to manage those classes, the structure of the classes, and all those things that are happening when you're teaching general music in elementary. I finished my career. I received my degree. I was working 2 years. I worked during 2 years as a teacher assistant. And then Jeff, again, he told me, "We need a trumpet teacher right now and a band director because you play with me in the big band. I know your skills. You have the skills that we need. Come, and I'm going to move from to be a teacher assistant to be a band director in secondary and trumpet teacher." And I was super excited with that decision. And then we were working together closer because he was the band director also for the advanced students. We played together. We have a lot of conversation, discussions, and we were sharing ideas, growing, thinking for the future. And in that time, when I spent with him, talking with him, with Melanie Hilding, that maybe she's going to be watching this, we spent at that time hours talking about music education, the plans for the future, how we can improve the music program in Ecuador and in this international school. After that, the school that we were working there, Colegio Menor in Quito, they opened a new campus in a different city or in the other side of the country in Ecuador. And Jeff, again, Jeff is like, man, he helped me a lot.
Can I just jump in? It sounds like he was such a mentor for you.
He is actually everything that I when I was thinking and I was growing as a music educator, I was looking at him and I was saying, I want to be like him. Then when they opened this new campus, the administrators, they were looking for a new director. So they said to Jeff, if he if he wants to move to another city. And he said, "No, I have my family here. My son needs. At that time he was in 5th grade or something like that." And he said my name. Okay. And then I received a call from the general director of the school. and they offering to me this position. And I was like, when I was in that meeting, 2 months after that, I was ready to get married with my actual wife right now. And the schools start in 2 months.
So you just combined both, start the new
Exactly.
job and wedding at the same time.
It was like, okay, let's see what's happening. And I talked with my girlfriend at that time, my actual wife, and we said, okay, we have this here. We're starting out as a family. Maybe it's a good opportunity to start our family in a different place, and you grow your career. We can find different opportunities for you. And at the end, I accept that job, and it was fun because in my wedding, I tell my family that I'm going to move to another city. And was like
surprise.
Surprise! I'm gonna. And I remember my brother Mike, who maybe he's going to be watching this. My brother, we were like after the wedding, we were in a dinner, and I said, "Okay, family, friends, we have some important news for you." And my brother was next to me. Your wife is pregnant right now. I know that she's right now. You're going to have a son. And I was, no, it's different. I'm moving. I'm changing the city. And he was my brother. I remember his face. He was, no.
You've just told your brother that you're moving to another city within Quito or within Ecuador. Now you're in Abu Dhabi. What? Tell us about the transition from Ecuador to Abu Dhabi. And what did your brother say when you told him you were moving to Abu Dhabi?
Imagine that. Yeah. Then in 2016, I started to work in Guayaquil. That's another city. I start being the music director there. We grow, we create the band program, the orchestra, the general music, and songwriting programs. We start growing as a community, and everything was amazing. We were having amazing results with all the things that we were doing there. And the program was going popular in this new community there. The admissions department was very excited and very happy because the admissions department was very busy and they were fighting to who's going to accept, because everyone wants to join in this school because the music program that we are having concerts. Yes, because we start playing outside in malls, in parks and things like that with our bands. And everyone was talking about that program and was like, oh man, they are playing. We have national tours. We're playing around the city with our advanced ensembles. So everyone was talking about that. And the admissions department was very busy. After 6 years to be there, I was talking with my wife, and I said, okay, we are having a good days here, and maybe I think that I can share my background, my ideas, my music with someone else in different parts of the world. At that time, I was having a lot of experience, and I was visiting different schools, attending to conferences around the States, music educators conferences, being a guest speaker for some conferences related with technology and music education, things like that. So I said, okay, maybe it's a good time to find another opportunities in other part of the world, and I'm going to start looking for something. We are very good here, but maybe we have right now our son. At that time, my son was like a year, I think, and maybe we can keep working for him and we can offer the best opportunities to him. So I start looking for some opportunities. And at the end, I received two offers. One was here in Abu Dhabi from James American Academy, where I'm working right now, and the other one was in China. So I talked with my wife again, and in terms of to be innovator in the music area, maybe in the music education, new things that I want to bring. I want to experiment with different rhythms and different genres of music. We decided to be here in Abu Dhabi. And the fun thing is, I said, okay, in a meeting with my family, okay, We are right now in Guayaquil, and we are going to move to the other part of the world. We're moving to Abu Dhabi. And my brother was, no, I don't want that for you. That is not truth. You have to be here. And I was like, no, we're moving. And he was maybe because he was playing with me. He was growing with me, and maybe we were super close with my brother. So maybe at that time that news that was a big shock for him. But right now he's excited.
And that's one of the things about international schooling, is that when you have these opportunities to move around to different countries, there is that separation, and that does take a lot of processing from not only your side but from the family side. And I think all of our listeners that have relocated to work in an international school may resonate with that. They might feel that as well. So that's really important to share, and something that I think people will connect with. So you're now in Abu Dhabi, and you're having sort of a great time. When we were chatting in the taxi, sounds like you've got lots of flexibility in your role. Can you tell us about your current role then in the school in Abu Dhabi, and how maybe you have incorporated some of your upbringing, your musical heritage from Ecuador into your program? Is that even something you're doing? And if so, how?
Sure. Right now in Abu Dhabi, I basically in charge of everything related with music in secondary, middle school, high school. I'm the sixth grade instrumental program. I'm the band director from beginner and advanced bands. I'm the IV DP music teacher, and I'm the digital music teacher. So basically, I'm doing everything related with music. It's great because here in Abu Dhabi's international schools and in GAA, we have people from all over the world. In one class, I can have students in one class, talking about 25 students, 20 students. I have students from around 12 different countries, and they always prefer to talk in their mother language. It's fun that sometimes in the digital music class, I'm trying to explain the ideas of the projects that we are doing. I explain from my side in English, and they have to work in their own computers. And I said, okay, if you prefer to work in your computer and develop the project in your mother language, it's good. Do it. It's up to you, and it's perfect, because you're going to feel comfortable to that. And if you are going to be comfortable in that way, work, and it's going to be amazing. So, for example, then I'm walk around the class, giving some feedback, and I have one student who's from Russia, and he's working in Russian, basically, and the computer, the software, it's in Russian. So I'm trying to see what's happening. Then I move to the next one, who's Korean, and he's working in the computer in Korean. And I was trying to identify what's happening in Korean in the window. Then I moved to the other one, who's from Japan, and she's working in Japanese. And I moved to the other one, who's from UAE, and he's working in Arabic. Then I have some guys from Mexico, and they worked in Spanish. And I have that big variety of nationalities in one place. And that's amazing, and it's super helpful. And I'm growing a lot to understand how they feel, how they express when I give one project, and the results that I can have. In terms of band, it's amazing because I'm putting in place my background. I'm from Latin America, and we have a lot of tropical rhythms. We have rhythms from the Caribbean, from South America, and that's amazing. And I study my bachelor is in contemporary music, basically in jazz. And I have students from South Korea that they are playing violin or flute. And I have students from UAE who are playing trumpet. And I said, okay, today we are going to work in blues. Okay, this is the song. We are going to play this blues, this arrangement. And this section, we have 12, 16 measures, where is the solo section. This is the blues scale in your instrument. This is the characteristic note. This is how we are going to develop. Okay, we're going to practice, repeat my rhythm, and after that, it's your time to work. It's your time to express with sounds. What do you want to say? If you want to scream, pray loud. If you want to cry, play soft and with slurs there. So all those things you can do with sounds. And it's great how they, in base of their background and combining with my ideas, my background also, they are having and we are building new concepts of music. It's amazing how, for example, the people from Asia, from China, they are playing blues and they are creating new ideas, new licks, and new phrases with music, and it's great when they are doing. In some point this week, I remember that we are playing in the book that we are having with elementary guys. We are playing some cumbia from Colombia. And I said, okay, you bass, the bass girl is from here, from UAE, and she needs to play the tum, 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 the characteristic sound. Another guy from India is in the percussion, and I was explaining the rhythm that he needs to play. And I was trying to put in context everything. And then at the end, this was sounding as a cumbia, as a actual Colombian orchestra. And I was like, I have people from 12 different countries in this band, and they are playing music from the other part of the world in a good way, and they are happy, they are excited. And when a student stand up and start dancing, and I said, this is the idea, okay? From this kind of music, you are going to feel that you need to express, not just playing, you need to move your body. Is the idea that we have with these tropical rhythms. In some other areas, we are playing also Arabic music here. We are combining traditional instruments from here. It's the first time that I want a student playing the qanun. That was my first time that I see the qanun sound. And she's one of my IB students, and she played the qanun there. We record with a table. Tabl is like an instrument here. It's like a percussion, like a cajon, something like that. So it's a big community with different parts of the world, and we are trying to combine everything in maybe in one ensemble or in one class, in one project. And it's amazing. I love it because they watch how valuable it's your background and how valuable it's to bring this background that I have or the background that they have to the school, to the class, the project that we are doing.
Love it. Really well described as well. I can almost hear the music and feel the energy that would be in a room like that. You mentioned music technology, and I guess you sort of mentioned a couple of things about how the students were using their own computers and having their computers translated to their mother tongue. What is some of your approaches to music technology? Do you have any kind of standout units or things you like to do in a music technology class?
Sure. We have two levels of music technology. We have 1 and 2. With the first one, basically, we are starting with the music theory using a software. Okay, when we are working, we are talking about intervals, or we are talking about chords or scales, basically. Before they need to write the scales actually and things like that. And now I'm asking to, for example, in the first levels, the first classes with level 1, that they have to create one scale going up, the major scale going up in the guitar, and the minor scale or the parallel minor scale going down with the violin. Then we're combining, we're putting percussion, instruments, drums. We are trying to grow as a music in those projects. At the beginning.
Is this in a DAW?
Yes. We are using GarageBand. Yeah. We are using Logic. And some students, they don't have like a Mac device. We have the lab in the school, but some students, they prefer to work at home. And if they don't have the Apple device, they don't have GarageBand or Logic, they are using a BandLab. Yeah. That is a free page, and they can work from home.
So in the DAW, they're going up using the DAW software, whatever they choose, and they're inputting a major scale up and a minor scale down.
Exactly, and we have the MIDI keyboards there, and they can play. They can start developing their skills in the pianos, and writing their own rhythms with the pads there. So in the first levels, is basically that. It's music theory combining with music technology to put together and create songs. At the end, maybe the first semester with level 1, they have to create their own song with like 5 different instruments and put in place some basic chords, chord progressions, scales, and intervals, for example.
Yeah.
So they are doing great. And in level 2, in the class of level 2, it's great. I have good units that I love to work with those things. One is related with the marketing, because I said, okay, even if you are not going to be a musician in your future, you need to promote your job. If you want to be an architect and you want to build your houses, or if you want to have your company of cars and you want to promote your car, you need advertisement to do that car. Okay, I give the advertisement like with no sound, with any brand. It can be cards brand, it can be soda, it can be food, it can be whatever. I give the advertisement empty, just the images there, and they have to put the music. If they have the soda opening, they have to create the actual sound, and they have to put in the same place. They have to create the music, they have to watch the effects. So at the end, we have amazing results. They love to do this, and they are working, they are focusing on those things. Another project that I love is music from movies and video games also. We start with music with video games, and it's great that one day they came to the class and I said, okay, let's play video games. And everyone is like, what are you talking about, Jeff? And I said, yes, today we are going to play video games and we are going to do an analysis of the music. So we start playing, for example, Super Mario Bros., the classical one, and with this guy, it's jumping, it's crick, crick, and when he's catching the flower or something, crew, 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 crew. And when the time is over, the music is spinning up, da, 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 da. Everything that is happening and involving. And I said, imagine in your future, imagine this job for you, to being a music developer in, I don't know, in EA Sports. That can be amazing. And they are like, they just watch me and they are thinking like, I want that job. I want to do that. That's not going to be a job. I want to work in things like that. Or I showing them how create effects, like breaking some crab's legs and recording those sounds. And they are like, really, that's a job? Oh man, that's amazing. So they love to do that. And then after that, again, they have to create the music from the video games. I leave the video game that we played empty, and they have to develop and they have to create their own music, their own effects, and things like that. So basically, those are some of the projects that we have, and they are really, really onto it. They are engaged in those things, and they love it. I have parents coming and saying, Jeff, my son, it's struggling in all the classes, but he loves your class and he's the best student here. And he's spending all the day in the computer, working in GarageBand, creating effects. He never wants to go and take the math things, or he's struggling in science, but he's spending all the day creating music, working with sounds. And I'm like, yeah, it's great. It's great. Then after that, I have a conversation with this guy that he needs to work in all the areas, but they love it. We are working in that thing, in that way.
I think, Jeff, I've got one final question for today, and it's around how things are going for you in Abu Dhabi. So you've moved from Ecuador to Abu Dhabi. How's life in Abu Dhabi for you? And what's the community like as an Ecuadorian? Do you have friends? Are there many other Ecuadorians, or even people that you knew prior to moving there? What's community like for you?
When the city, it's amazing. I want to start with that. UAE, it's an amazing country for expats, for international teachers. Was very friendly, super safe place for families. If you have your child here and they are going outside to play, you're never going to be worried that when's going to happen. Someone's going to be with him, and he's gonna disappear or something. No, here's safe place. It's an amazing. The country, it's gorgeous. Basically, the city, Abu Dhabi, if it's amazing. If you feel tired from here from Abu Dhabi, you can go to Dubai. That it's 45 minutes from here. The community from Ecuadorians, I'm not sure. I don't have Ecuadorians friends here. I have like a couple South American friends from here, from Argentina, from Colombia.
Qué bueno, los argentinos.
Che!
Che.
Felicitaciones, argentinos, la tercera.
Zero.
Yes, you were in Argentina.
Yeah,
Maybe I
yeah.
didn't know. You were celebrating the World Cup for
Campeones del mundo.
Yes.
Yeah, I can bring out my Argentine accent every now and then and join the party. But that's interesting. So the Argentines and some other South American community.
Exactly, South American community more than specific countries. So we have some friends from those parts of the world, basically from South America. But here is more like an expats culture, talking about you have teachers from different parts of the world, and they can share with you ideas, where to go to eat, where to go with the kids. If you are alone, if you are single and you want to go to the party, you can talk with some other teachers and they know everything. It's an amazing place. Basically, we are having an amazing journey, amazing time here in this country. We are super comfortable. It's an easy place to use to live here, basically.
Yeah.
Because everything that I said.
Jeff, thanks for taking us on your journey and letting us into your world. It's been really, really fascinating. And throughout this conversation, I feel like I've kind of been there with you through all these stages. And I'm really excited about what's ahead for you. And I'm so glad that you're kind of happy and settled and doing your thing in Abu Dhabi. Is there anything else you wanted to share with the community? Or any questions, any comments, any final thoughts?
Sure. Basically say thank you, Chris, for have this space for us as music teachers in international schools, in where I was talking to you before to start this interview, this conversation, that sometimes we have some periods of time during the school year when we are arriving home late. We are arriving super tired. We are having hard days in the school. And when I came here and I watch, when I watch in the kitchen things and I'm listening the podcast here, I can feel that I'm not alone in this journey as a music teacher. I can listen the experiences from other teachers around the world. I can feel that we are in the same page. We are having the same problems. And when I read some articles that I can find there, it's great because after that, I feel like energetic. I feel motivated to continue with this thing. And spaces like these are super important for us who are outside our countries. We are living different experiences. And when we watch this kind of podcast or we are reading these articles, we feel that we are in the same page. And this is super useful. And all the people who's watching this, give the like to Chris. And most of that, if you can share your experience and talk and motivate everyone to keep working in this area. It's amazing. Thanks, Chris, for this. And man, keep working on this. It's amazing.
Thanks, Jeff. I really, really appreciate all those words. And that's the idea, I think, of this whole platform, is to connect and to hopefully feel a little less isolated. So really glad that it feels like that for you. And thanks for extending all those thoughts to everyone. Again, thank you for joining me today, Jeff. And if anyone wants to get in touch with Jeff, we'll leave some information in the show notes so you can jump onto the mtiis.co website and we'll have a little kind of bunch of notes there for you, some sort of recap of this talk, but also a way to connect with Jeff if you have any questions or want to know more. Jeff, have a great rest of the year. At the time of this recording, it's sort of February, so you're deep into the year and busy. Have a great rest of the year, and I really look forward to buying you that meal one day. I think I'm gonna have to come to Abu Dhabi and
sometimes you have to come here. And I want to share Karak tea. Here's popular the Karak, and I love it.
That sounds
we
great.
Can share, and we can share a meal, man. Of course.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Music Teachers in International Schools podcast. Listen to other episodes by visiting mtiis.com or learn more about our community on Facebook by simply searching for Music Teachers in International Schools. If you know someone who you think I should get on the podcast, I'd love to hear from you. You can find me at chriskoelma.com, ChrisKoelma.com. See you next time.